Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena and I am the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. My oldest is in high school, my daughter is in 3rd grade, and my youngest, who is on the spectrum, is in kind of a kinder first hybrid. Today I'm going to talk about how we're getting back into the swing of things and kind of resetting school after the break. So one of the favorite things I like to do when we reset our homeschool or kind of just need a jump start after a break, especially after the holidays, is kind of rearrange the space in our homeschool area. So I will move furniture around or kind of put new posters up or new things, change up the calendar. We try to change the calendar up monthly anyways. Just find ways to refresh the area and give it a little lift, if you will. So this time around, I actually went ahead and moved out the desk area here just for this holiday season, or just after this holiday season. If you'd like to see a little bit more in depth of how we cleaned up the space and moved furniture around and stuff like that, I will have a video coming out. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button and the little bell notification so that you're notified when that video comes out of us resetting this space and me just kind of cleaning up and resetting it. Another thing that I like to do is meet with my kids, especially my high schooler. This year my son started 9th grade, and we have always had these kind of Monday meetings and Friday recap meetings, but the first Monday meeting after the break is really important because I sit down with him and I go over with him kind of where we're at a little bit more in depth. So we talk about where we're at yearly wise in school, how many weeks we've completed, how many weeks we have to go, and where we feel we're sitting at with our curriculum and what needs to be done. I hate to say that we're behind because it puts a lot of pressure on you, but high school is kind of a different level where you don't want to get too far back into your curriculum because it can add on into your summer and nobody likes that, but it can also just make high school last a little bit longer, and that could be tough for both you as the parent and the child as well. So I like to sit down with my kids and kind of look at their schedule and see what's working, what's not working. Now that we've been in school for a few months, just kind of ask them, what do they think is going great about their school year so far? What kind of things do they think they want to switch up maybe? Things like that. So I like to sit with the kids, each of them, and kind of have a little chat. Now clearly, when I meet with my high schooler, it's a little bit more in depth as opposed to meeting with my youngest son, but I do even meet with him and talk to him a little bit and just kind of ask him what's his favorite stuff about school and what's his not so favorite stuff, and we kind of take it from there. Another way that we kind of refresh or reset after the holidays for school is to go over our planners and kind of our check-in system with school. So these are a couple ways that we have been using, or a couple different ideas that we've been using for school so that my kids know how to stay on track and what is expected of them and what they can keep track of what they need to get done for the day. So for my youngest son, we've been using these kind of first, next, last boards. I purchased this from Teachers Pay Teachers online, and I will link it for you down below. But you get, it wasn't a book. I had it just with some like Happy Planner disc. But I found that was just too much for him. Just kind of flipping through the pages, and we have like other things, other little cards on here, other things that he needed to get done, and it was proving to be a little distracting for him. So if your child's not quite ready for that, go ahead and I just did the front page, and this is what we're doing, and we'll put down the things that need to get done, just kind of little picture cards, and then as he does them, he can move the cards around accordingly. And like I said, I do have other things that I have printed out for him, and it just kind of helps for him to have the pictures and to know what's expected of him throughout the day, and be able to maneuver it around. Now, we don't always have to use these, but especially after breaks or periods, or when it just gets a little bit tougher in homeschool, these really come in handy, and he really is able to visually see what he needs to get done. And then it takes a little pressure off of mommy, always reminding him like, here's what we have to do next, here's what we have to do next. He's learning how to take responsibility for his schedule in a slow way that's at his speed. Now for my daughter, one of the ways that we were doing this is just in one of these sheet protectors. This is actually not her school stuff. This is her ways, I just printed out ways she could help her family and her home when we were doing chores and things like that. But I just printed this paper on like Google Docs, and then I just wrote things that she needed to get done. So in the morning, she needed to make her bed, brush her teeth and her hair, things like that. And then it just lists out her other things. So we did have one of these that had her schoolwork on it, and I just kind of, like I said, I cut pictures and put them onto a Google Docs sheet, and then she could cross it off as she went. Later throughout the year, we just went ahead and used the back side of it where it was completely blank, and every day we would write down the things that she needed to do if the schedule was changing up. So some days we would have science, or some days we would have geography. We didn't have those things every day, so having a blank sheet and just writing out on a whiteboard or a sheet protector like this was really simple and easy, and she could either erase it or cross it off as she got it completed. This time around, I think what we're gonna do is sit down together and kind of create. She has been doing little planner dates with me and kind of enjoying that. And so I think what we're gonna do is make a little list, checklist for her that she can keep in her planner, and it'll be similar to this, and then we can just go about and do it that way. But those are a couple options for your kiddos that you can do with them and just kind of refresh and have them visually see what's to be expected of them throughout the day, and then there's a sense of accomplishment as they get to cross it off or check it off. For my high schooler, he has a planner. I've shown it on the channel before. He just has a planner from the Christian Planner, and he, during our Monday meetings, will go through and we'll mark off what needs to get done. And then the last thing that I do is take a dive into our curriculum and really sit back and think what is working and what is not. At this point of the school year, we've been in school for a couple of months, so I can kind of see if things need to be changed up, especially for my youngest. We switch up his curriculum a few times throughout the year. So we, for instance, had been doing all about reading, and then we've kind of morphed it with some Moffat Girls reading program and writing program as well. And so we will kind of flip-flop back and forth between these two curriculums, just depending on what he feels he can get done for the day and what he'll sit for. We've also added in more sensory time for him so that he can take breaks in between his subjects and be able to move his body and things like that. And that is just really helpful for him. So looking at his and seeing, is he ready to add more things to his plate, or do we need to maybe move some stuff aside, is really helpful planning that stuff out. Now, on the other end of that spectrum, for my oldest, who is in high school, I've taken a look at his curriculum and gone through and said, okay, this is how many weeks we completed, this is how many weeks the course probably should take, and this is what we have left. So I'm kind of just checking in with the curriculum and our timeline, making sure that we're on it, and if we're not, seeing what adjustments and changes we can make with that. I find that after being in school for a few months, this is really good to just kind of check in with our books and stuff like that, and just figure out kind of the next few months and what we're looking at. And that's really it. Those are just a couple of things we're doing this year to kind of refresh and reset after the holidays. I don't know about you, but when we get after this long break, sometimes it can be really difficult to get back into the groove of things. One more little side note that I did want to say is that it's okay to kind of tiptoe back into the school year. And what I mean by that is that sometimes after a longer break, we will just add in subjects slowly. So much like some years for school, we've just started with like half school days and then built up our school subjects and how long it takes our day. Sometimes after the holidays, we will do that too. We didn't do that this time around because I didn't feel like we really needed it, but there have been times when we've taken a longer break, like Christmas break or an Easter break, where we have like a full week off of school or a couple of weeks. And then it just is really hard for the kids and I to get back into the swing of things, where we'll just start with like core subjects, so Bible, English, and math. And then throughout the week, we'll add on another subject and another subject. And so we're back in the swing of things with a full day schedule of all the things that we are trying to get done in our school. I'd love to know if you have any tips or tricks of how you get started with your homeschool after a long break, or if you're just able to swing right back in with no pause whatsoever. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you have any special tricks or tips and you'd like to share. I really appreciate you hanging out with me and watching this video, spending your time to spend with me. It is really, really appreciated. If you are not already a subscriber, maybe check out some of our other videos and see if you'd like to join our little YouTube family. And if you are already a subscriber, thanks so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching the video again.